Hello and welcome to Borrow My Belief, a podcast that's designed to inspire you to live from your heart, do what your soul's calling. And today I've got Amy.
Hello
Amy. To give you a little bit about Amy, I don't know when I met you. I feel like I've known you.
It's about 2 months now, but feels like about 20 years.
It feels like literally 20 years ago when she came to stay where I'm staying at the moment in the UK, and we connected over a shared interest, which is cacao, which you're going to get to hear a little bit about. And actually the first time I met you, I thought you were so cool because you arrived with so much luggage. I thought, that's a woman after my own heart. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you.
So I know you've travelled from Australia. I know your story, obviously. I know you've left one life to come and explore and find yourself, a bit like Eat, Pray, Love, kind of. So do you want to just give a little introduction about yourself?
Okay. Hello. Yeah, where do you start introducing yourself? What wants to come through? So I'll start where I am and then we'll go backwards. So I'm living in the UK now, probably for the next 2 or so years. Coming on a journey to really reclaim our ancestry, like my own lineage, coming from the UK and Scotland, and reclaiming the feminine history and the suppression of the woman and that archetype that it represents. And naturally, obviously, that then led me to Glastonbury, the heart chakra of the world, and being a part of Mother Avalon. And that was really what was calling for me. But rewind from that. I've been on a few years journey, coming from a corporate life and studying and having a really strong direction of being in architecture and that path, and then having certain things come into my life that really shook that ground and pushed me towards living a life from my heart. And that's really where I'm coming to now. It was like I went very deep into the spiritual world, which I think was needed, and going a lot of underworldly stuff. And now I'm really kind of coming out of that and coming to a place of merging both identities, realizing both are me, and it's not about leaving one or being the other.
Yeah.
That I am both.
Yeah, I recognise that story.
Yeah. It's a hodgepodge.
Yeah, so for me, for most of my life, I'm much older than you, I was in one world, and it was very doing and very successful and driven and the American dream, kind of. And then I moved right over to this spiritual world, and where we're actually recording this is Glastonbury, UK, which is a very, very, very spiritual place. So you can walk up the high street as somebody would be walking down with bare feet and pixie ears, and no one would say anything really, would they? So I moved right over to that world, and now I've kind of landed somewhere in the middle. But what would be really nice to hear is, where did it all start for you? Because you grew up, you did what a lot of people do. You went and studied and became an architect, and then what started to happen?
Yeah, I've been reflecting on this actually recently, and it's hard because it's there's not one moment that it was this is the moment. There are a few catalyst moments. There is one moment. I don't know if I want to share.
Well, you can say what you want or not. You're editing it, so you can edit it out if you want. What was your message?
Yeah, I would say naturally things happened. Naturally we were in a world of a pandemic, forcing us to be inside, and then that kind of forces introspection. So there's obviously that element. There's a breakdown of a relationship that being in your young 20s, which was a really, I can say a codependent relationship and in a lot of ways unhealthy at that time, really forces you again to like rub up against who you are and where you are not. And then, I actually did a past life regression, which I would say was one of the biggest catalysts. And the life that I experienced in that regression, which I guess we can go into what a past life regression is in case people don't know, but that past life really brought up a lot of trauma that I had carried, but I hadn't known why I was carrying. Like I didn't have evidence of these things happening to me in my world, but carried all this ancestral memory, this DNA memory of these things. And that was really a big trigger moment, partnered with years of studying architecture and sleeping like 2 hours a night and like going so far into that world that I literally burnt myself out. And then I arrived in the architecture world in a full-time role, and then was like, I am exhausted.
Wow.
I am burnt out, and now I've gotten all these things that have come up. But
and also, so it's really intriguing to me. I've had a past life regression as well, and I know how these things came into my reality. But there was once upon a time where I wouldn't have even entertained or looked at or gone anywhere. I remember when I got my first Oracle deck, it was massive for me. I was 49. So mine all came about through a colleague who started to open my eyes up to various different things. What about you? Because you could to go from being in that world, and then next thing you're having a past life regression. There's a journey there.
There's a journey. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Now you touch on it. So I would say there's parts. I read The Power of Now while still studying architecture, and that was recommended to me from a dear friend.
Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle, yeah. And I remember when I first read it being like, what is this world? Like, I put it down the first time. Like, when I only got through, like, the first chapter or something, and I was like, whoa, this is a different world. I'm not sure about this. But obviously it sparked something, so I went back, and I was like, but and then it opened my eyes, like, there has to be more. There has to be more to this. And, I had already had an Oracle deck by that point. Like, I'd had it since I think like maybe I was like 20 years old.
Okay.
And always been interested in the spiritual world and like seen spirits and heard spirits as a kid. So that kind of was always there. My sister was super into what's the witch in the 90s?
Oh.
The show?
Oh.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Right, okay.
So that like witchy way was always there growing up. But it always seemed like, oh no, witches, that's not real. That's like child's play. And then, you get to a stage that things happen to you and like seeing things, hearing things, you're like, okay.
That's really interesting. You should say that because, gosh, fast forward 6 years for me. And it did go back beyond that 6 years. It didn't start there for me 6 years ago. That was just when I got an Oracle deck. But fast forward now, and where some scientists might say that can't be, it's undeniable to me. I can't. There's things that happen that there's no logic can explain away, and multiple things. But even saying that, I was talking to a student this week, and he's studying quantum physics, and he was talking about quantum entanglement, and it seems like science actually is catching up with some of these things. And I always go back to how I'm old enough to remember when people just didn't want to do yoga, and now it's recommended to do yoga and meditation and all these different things. So it feels like things are catching up. So you started to enter this kind of world, and you were curious, and it led you along to a past life regression. We talked about, you're in COVID, it brought you more to the internal environment as I think it did a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what started happening then? I mean, obviously you got the courage to hop countries at some point. I know you went to Bali,
true,
and I've been to Bali,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Bali's a very magical place, isn't it?
And it's closer for you Australians
Yeah.
than us.
It's
A lot of my journey happened in Bali, actually, the initial part, 'cause my daughter was there, and I went out there and to Ubud, which is quite the centre of the spiritual hub, and went twice, and it's pretty intense, isn't it? I felt like I'd been put through some kind of blender, mushed up and spat out the other side by the time I left. Yeah.
Yeah, Bali will do that to us.
Yes.
Yeah, she holds a very sacred power there that really, like, I almost see it as like the Pluto of astrology. Is she, like, brings you into your underworld and, like, will show you all the things. And then, like... Spit you out. Like, it's not uncommon that people just spend small times in Bali because of the energy.
It's like Glastonbury.
Yeah, same. Yeah. How ironic, I've been in Glastonbury and Bali.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I got the same in Mexico. It's interesting that it's hard to explain unless you've experienced it. It's another world. And to be in I think the only way I could explain it really is when you walk into a room, you often can pick up on the atmosphere of the room.
Yeah.
And even if you walk in a home, you can tell if someone's been arguing before you've been there. And we're talking about whole places with people with a certain energy, and you end up in that energy.
That's actually a very beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
Very tangible.
Yeah. And these communities as well, what I've noticed with my daughter is she can be in Australia, you've been to Byron Bay as well, and she can be in Bali, she can be in Glastonbury, and she can bump into people that she's seen in all those Sri Lanka, now Guatemala, Mexico, seen people she's known from different places. Yeah,
I wonder if we're all, like, weaving together, like going to all these potent places in the world and taking the medicine from each place.
Yeah,
because I really do feel like places, buildings, everything holds memory. It holds meaning, and it holds medicine. Especially if it is like sacred sites, there is so much to gain from these places, which I guess is where travel comes into it.
And so, what got you to take that leap, Amy, to leave your job, and what brought you over here? How are you here?
For me, I've never struggled, for the most part, to follow my gut.
Yeah.
I've kind of had this inner fire that will just, like, snap, all right, we're doing that, and don't really ask questions. So for me, it was like, the job's done, I need to go. I've just got to take a break wherever that takes me. I don't know. Would I have known I would be here now and what I'm doing now? Probably not. I couldn't really see that far. I just knew that I had to do it.
Let's do something.
So took the break. Against my work's best recommendation. Yeah. And they definitely tried to keep me there, and they're wanting the best for me, but wasn't the path. And then went to Bali, and then went off to India and was in an ashram for a few months, studying yoga, the Bhagavad Gita.
So I know along the way there's the cacao, and you hold cacao ceremonies, and I know that you do Reiki. So where did all that come in?
So it's a good question. Cacao came in through women that I met in Melbourne, actually. They host beautiful cacao ceremonies. They have their own cacao, spirit of cacao. And it's infused with Reiki, actually. So I went to ceremonies with them. I met them at a festival, actually, in Melbourne, a women's festival. So that kind of got me started in this cacao. Like, first time I had it, I was like, what is this? What is this experience? Like, for me, I'm not really in the drug scene. So I hadn't really been exposed to anything like that, or like plant medicine. So that was really my first experience with plant medicine. So yeah, really just like snap something. Then I started just going through my own journey with it, like having it at home on my own and integrating it into my life with no plans to ever share it, to be honest, in space. But yeah, it was similar around this time last year that I was at home and it came through, like the spirit of cacao came through and was like, you need to share this. People in Melbourne want to sit with you, want to experience this medicine. Like, please share this medicine. So I was like, okay.
And you did.
You tell me what to do, I'll do it. So then that's how I started sharing it in a public setting.
Yeah. And what
That was
about
just
the
for me.
Reiki as well? Because you've done different types of Reiki. And
Yeah.
I've had a tiny experience of your Reiki, which was powerful with the energy of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know I'm going to get a session with you, which I'll
We'll do a
feedback
session.
on. But yeah, where did you are? I mean, I've read Reiki. I've trained in Reiki, and I don't offer it, and it's not for me. I even knew when I went to the training that it wasn't something that I was going to offer.
Yeah.
So it's not. I know about Reiki. It's just not my calling. What brought you to it? Because it's definitely your calling, and you definitely. Well, let me just go back a little bit. What I notice is, as I go further on this journey, one of my biggest values is individuality, and that's why I've got this podcast. Because it's like we're all copied and pasted everywhere. Everything, what I see, the world that I left is we've got all these individuals and everybody is an individual, but we're encouraged to be copied and pasted for each. And you've only got to drive into a new estate of buildings and everything's the same house looks. And so I'm really encouraging of individuality and different gifts and how different we all are. And what I've noticed is the further I go down that, so for example, people who feel land and then other people who don't feel land, they feel the energy of the land. Or me, even though I love all the spirituality and everything, I'm more inclined to look at AI and different technologies and have a YouTube channel and a podcast. I can get really excited about that when other people just don't want to go anywhere near that. It's as if you really go from your soul and if you really listen to yourself, you'll know where you slot into it all. And when you did that little bit of Reiki for me, which was a little bit, I got kind of an idea of what it's going to be like. You can tell your vessel, your body, your human body, it's here to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what, I mean, is that what it feels like?
Yeah, I would say it does feel like that, especially the land connection. I've always had that, and I guess maybe that is part of the reason towards architecture, right? It's like always been communing with the land, but not really realizing. Because even when I studied architecture, when we would get a new site, I would just sit at the site, and even when I'd design it, I'd then go back to the site and sit with the site and how it felt. So I've always been attuning to energy, but not really realizing I was attuning to the energies. But it actually started from friends that I met when I was in Bali. They wanted to do some clearing because they'd gone through some things while they were there. And they were like, yeah, just do what feels right. And I was like, I don't know what this is. I've never done any of this. And then I just went with like what felt right, like hands-off healing. And then afterwards she was like, wow, this is what you were meant to do. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then it still was probably close to a year later. Yeah, like a year later before I got attuned to Seishim, which is similar to Reiki, but it's actually the feminine essence. And it comes from Egyptian lineage originally. So that is more, and for me it's like very like the mother energy. Mary Magdalene comes through very strongly through my lineage of learning Seishim. So it's very the feminine, and it's a higher vibrational than Reiki. I feel it works very much on the energetic field, and like it can clear a lot of energy, whereas Reiki is very a physical modality. It really works on the physical elements. So yeah, it wasn't until I was already a master in Seishim that I actually went down the Reiki path.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I mean, even now to this day, I can be really quite skeptical, but there's no denying what I see.
Yeah.
And I lived with my friend Susan for a while when I travelled in Mexico, and I came back and I lived with her for a while, and she had Labradors. And when I did the Reiki, I started to do Reiki on the dogs, and one of her dogs had, it's quite typical in Labradors, problems with his gut, and he used to come up to me in the morning and push his bottom against me to get his Reiki.
Oh, wow.
And he would come for his Reiki because he could feel it, and I wasn't touching him, so that's a dog coming to get its Reiki. And it's not like I was touching him or holding him or anything, and he would just literally push his back up against me. So for me, that's, if a dog can feel it, it's all about energy. Yeah,
the animals are very attuned to that.
Yeah, I find that really interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what gives us humans the validation as well.
Yeah.
To be like, because I did feel that when I first was attuned and starting this practice, was like, am I doing anything? Because like, if you just watched me, it's just like, I'm just standing there like this. That's what it feels like at times. But it's like, no, you can't deny the actual impacts that come out of it, and the results that you see in people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, especially Seishim, the way you can think about it is like similar to Kali in Indian philosophy. So she's like the destroyer in a way. Like she will come in, because it's like connected to Ma'a. She will come in and like take away what doesn't resonate.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to this.
So
I'm looking forward to this session.
Yeah, she really creates big changes in people's lives, but only what's ready to go, right? So I guess that's what she's done for me, because a lot in my life has been
And I'm so talking it. Well, first of all, I want to say that I can always tell when I'm doing a podcast when somebody's lit up, and you can see you're lit up talking about this. It's enjoyable, and what I've noticed is, for myself, for other people, when we set up on this journey of living who we are and our soul and what wants to come through us, there's a lot that comes up, and there's a lot that we have to face. Fear, sadness, anger, things that we were told when we were younger, or different, just so much comes up to the surface. And when we first set off on that path, I think for most people it's, this is amazing. And I watch people now, this is when you first arrived in Glastonbury, for example. I mean, you're well enough down the line to know it wasn't always going to stay amazing, but it kind of is anyway. But what I guess where I'm getting to is, we set off on this path, we think, this is all going to be wonderful now, and then boof, we start to bump up against ourselves, don't we? And it can be quite hard. How are you navigating that? Because it isn't, I once had a mentor that said the problems grow with you. Your problems are only as big as you've grown. So what he was saying was, the more successful you get, the bigger your problems are going to come, right? So how are you navigating that?
Okay. Sitting with it, I would say, is what comes through first. I don't feel I have that nature that runs away from it. I've always been comfortable in the underworld and comfortable with what I like to say, like the scratchy. One of my friends said that, and I really like that resonation of like the bits that kind of scratch you. I've been like, okay, what is that? There was definitely a time when I was younger that it was like, we avoid that. Yeah. Let's go do something else.
Yeah. And I think that's what's happening. So I think some of our viewers, they'll be wondering why. I mean, you can tell me what you think of this. Okay. They'll be wondering why they can't. They'll be in a job. Yeah. And it's not everybody who's watching, but let's say it's somebody who's in a job. they might be married to somebody and they're not really into them anymore. They have created this life and it's really quite safe. They may be watching Netflix every night or something like that. Maybe it's a woman that's kids have grown up, or it's a man that, you know, he's chased his career and it doesn't feel fulfilling anymore. And I mean, I know that in order to, is there anything more to life? And I know that in order to change that, if you're going to do it yourself rather than some thing come in and do it for you, which could be losing your job, or your wife leaves you, your husband leaves you, all sorts of various different things, illness. But let's say you're going to do it for yourself, but you can feel it. I know for a fact, I don't think I've ever come across a different case in this, that if you're going to follow your path and you're going to do something fulfilling, you're going to have to feel emotions. You're going to have to feel sadness, anger, fear. I think that's why a lot of menopausal women change their life, because it forces them to feel emotions. Or in my case, I went to therapy for 2 years, which forced me to feel my emotions, and that's when my life changed. Or something happening in your life. But it's that sitting in the emotions and letting them emotions come up, and without going into what they are, because they are from childhood, that actually is the very thing you need to do in order to get the more fulfilling life. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
And so if you were to go back to Amy, who's wondering about, you know, she's not come to your life now and she's wondering, and how would you describe that to her? How would you encourage her? What would you...
To take this...
Yeah, what would you... I mean, what could help her in the language that she knew at the time?
Yeah, when you were speaking, I really got the message of me a few years prior to when it actually began, and I started therapy as well. I've done a lot actually through my life, different stages, but there was a catalyst moment that happened in a personal relationship that I was in, that I kind of saw this like demon archetype in myself, and I really couldn't sit with it. So then I started therapy and working with that. And the thing I would tell her in the where she was then was that niggle that you feel inside, that surely this isn't who I am, and surely this isn't what I'm going to be the rest of my life. Like, surely there has to be more than this. This can't be it. And for like rubbing up against, especially Western medicine in that way of like traditional therapy of like, I found it quite methodical, and like they show you all the ways that it's impossible to change. And it was almost like rubbing up against this state of like, you can't change. It's so hard to change. And yeah, it is really hard to change.
Yeah.
But you can.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here not the same person. That person in my life would even reflect that back of like, you're not the same person.
Whoa. Do you know, gosh, we could actually do 2 hours on that, what you just said. My daughter said to me quite some time ago, I had to grieve you, Mum, because you changed so much. I think she would have had to have grieved me 10 times over since then. And actually looking back on my own journey, there was a moment where because everyone wants their parents to live their best life actually, and she turned around to me in a multi-story car park and said, Mum, please go and do what you want to do, what lights you up. And I turned around to her and said, not in this lifetime, honey, maybe in the next. But I mean, obviously I did. But in order to be where I am now, I've had to face aspects of myself that I would have preferred not to have had. And it's a really key part of the journey. I mean, we've talked about one recently where I realised I was addicted to drama. And I also realised that when I was talking to my friends and confiding in them, there was an element of gossip there, but I wouldn't have called it gossip. And there's quite a lot of shame that comes up when you look at these things. So it's not for the faint-hearted. But like you said, that's how you change. Because we're quick to say, oh, my parents did this to me, or oh, my friend did this to me. My big one was I was bullied at work at one point, or my colleagues did that to me. But it's not until you turn around and look at yourself and go, actually, why is this happening, and what kind of person am I? And then you're willing to look and go, oh God, I don't like what I see. I don't like who I am. And then bring compassion to that, because I brought a lot of self-hate to that. But if you can bring compassion to that, that's when things change.
And you're a testament to that.
Yeah. And so
like there was a time that you were like, not in this lifetime, and then look, now
Yeah.
you have your podcast, now you're sharing your story, living your purpose.
It's just so similar. Yeah.
It just takes that spark, that, how would you even put it, like, that it's not going to happen from a place of not fear. You're going to be terrified. It's going to be the scariest thing you've probably ever done.
Yeah, you're going to be
You're
very terrified.
You're 100% going to think you're going to fall flat on your face.
Yeah.
And maybe you will.
Yeah.
Look, maybe you will.
Yeah. True.
But you will get up.
I've fallen flat on my face about 20 times. But it's not... Do you know something I actually did? I've not put it out yet. Probably will have by the time of this recording, actually. But I actually filmed something for YouTube last night about entrepreneurs versus employees. And part of it was about failure, that the employees encourage not to fail. They encourage not to fail, but the entrepreneur knows that failing is the way forward. You can't learn until you've failed. It's like a toddler doesn't walk until they've fallen over. That, you know, that as a parent, which obviously I am, it's not until you let your kids go and you try and save them from all these things, but they only start to grow once they go and do all the daft stuff that you think you could have saved them from. It's the same thing. It's evolution.
Yeah, like no one can save you, no one can do it for you. And I think the moment we realise that it's not outside of us, it's us.
And we take full responsibility.
Full responsibility.
And stop saying, you did that to me, or that did that to me.
The victim mentality is the way to stay stuck.
Yes. It's not...
To be like, I've done this wrong, I've done this wrong. And I will still hold and cuddle that version of myself just as tightly as I will cuddle the gifts that I share. Like, both of me are me.
Yes.
And that was a big part, I would say, of my journey of, like, that I've done the shadow work, where you literally look at the shadow version of yourself and you're like, hey, you, come have a snuggle. Come have a snuggle with me. Like, I'll love you just as much.
Yeah.
Like, you are not this awful thing. You are me. You came in to protect me. Like, having that empathy of, like, oh, I yelled at my partner, or I yelled at my mother or my kid. And it's like, oh, I did that because I felt, maybe you felt attacked, or it triggered something, a core wound. It's like, oh, actually that version of me was yelling to protect me.
Yeah.
It's not that I've done some, you know, I've obviously you've apologized and learned, but it's not that you're a bad person.
Do you know, I think this is, I'm just realising, I mean, I've done, I've had 42 podcasts now, and I've had a lot of clients, and I've done a lot of sessions and lots of different things. I've coached a lot of people, even in my job. And I think that what I'm just thinking just right now, I think the one key thing that is, because my life keeps catapulting into the next stage, into the next stage, into the next stage. And recently it's got to the point where it's kind of a joke, in that when I get to the evening and I do an evening practice and I'm writing about my day, and I have these two questions. One is, how did I move towards my dreams? And how did I benefit? And another one's, how did I move away from my dreams, and what detriment was that? But it's becoming, and then I recount my day and the gratefulness. It's kind of becoming a joke now that there's that many moments. I used to write in my manifestations, I pinch myself, life is so good. There's that many moments I could pinch myself that it's like, oh God, life is, you know, it's great, but I find greatness in problems these days, to be fair. But I think the one thing that has changed my life every single time and I go around in my patterns and my cycles, is taking responsibility for where I'm at. It nails it every single time. That's when something seems to shift and I move on and I fully embrace, oh my God, I got myself in here. And I just need to embrace it. I need to, whether that's I can't pay a bill and I don't have the money, don't deny it. I need to face that, or something like, I don't know, I can't think of another example just now.
I would say I've witnessed this in you with the story of drama.
Yeah,
that
you were around for that one. Yeah.
That I've seen you in this process and the gift that has come out of it, and like even where you are now than like 3-4 weeks ago, it's like...
Well, it's got super speed for me now.
Yeah, we're on super speed.
And you know something that was really interesting about this one here? I think we've only known each other a couple of months, so it feels like a lifetime. Because this is what I'm noticing. I'm 56. You're 28?
Yeah.
Your generation now is getting this quicker and quicker than we did. So you are, goodness knows where you're going to be by the time you're 56. Yeah. You're like you're the evolution of us, the absolute evolution of us.
But we wouldn't also be able to be the evolution without the guides as well.
Oh. And so what I've witnessed in you, Amy, that I admire, I don't quite have yet, is, and I'm interested to see how you cultivated this. Trust. You walk blindly. What I mean by that is, so you arrived where we are now, it's called the Dragonfly, with all that luggage, and which is so funny. And then and where we're living in Glastonbury, it's so hard to get accommodation. And this is an Airbnb for the most part, even though it's not for me. And I'm saying, you found somewhere to live, and I'm saying you need to take that. I'm getting really like, you need to take that. People can't find anywhere to live right now. And you were just so blasé, and it'll be fine. And then now you're getting ready to move on again. And you're looking for a vehicle and all these different things, and you need to do that, I need to do that. I feel like your parent at times, because this is what parents do, and you go, oh, it's okay. you just, and it all just falls into place. So for example, you were wanting to go to a festival, you didn't have a way to get there. I spent the evening before with you. And I'm trying to sort it out and think, well, how's she going to get there? And you're just like, oh, well, it'll unfold and I'll either get up or I won't get up. And then the next day I get a text. She's on the way to the festival. She didn't even know she was going to get there the night before. How do you do that? That's letting go, surrender and trust.
I have gotten there from being the complete opposite of that.
Okay.
The absolute polar opposite, and people that knew me a few years ago listening to your account will be like,
send this bit to them.
They're like, that is not Amy, that is not her. Although my parents will be loving hearing this, being like, someone else gets it, she's just like chaos.
No, you're just so chilled, and you just go, and the biggest thing about it is, the thing that I'm thinking, how's that going to happen? It just happens. And it just happens in flow. And I think it's a great lesson. It's my thing that I'm calling in now, and I'm starting to see elements of it. It's a lot of letting go and relaxing. But come on, give me a lesson.
give me the hard truth. Oh gosh. For me, it's that I hit a rock bottom.
Yeah.
That I was like surrendered on the floor, like I don't know how to get to tomorrow. Like I don't know how I'm going to like go to sleep and wake up and do tomorrow. So it's like once everything else has been stripped, what else do you have but to literally, like I got forced into letting go, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I come from a world of uber control. Control everything in my life. Like even being in architecture can be quite a controlling industry, but yeah, I was very controlling, and like how my designs were, the people in my life, when you're allowed to talk to me, when you weren't allowed to talk to me, like everything was so like
Well, I don't know that, Amy.
no.
Well, you don't know previous Joanne.
But that is also where the medicine is of like,
Yeah.
look at me, because I'm sitting here and it's like I am not so far from, if you're early on your journey, I'm not so far. Like I was that.
Yeah.
So it's like you can be the opposite.
Yeah. And do you know what it reminds me of? Because obviously my thing's manifestation, and I became interested in manifestation at 22. And so it's a lot of years.
Yeah.
And I've really gone into the nuances of it. That's why I wrote a book, because like most of it's not covered. It's been an obsession of mine. And what I've noticed is the thing always manifests when you let go. Is you get to that point, like you said, where you're on your knees. So for example, for me, I was single for 6 years, and I got to the point where even knowing all this, it happens. It seems to be part of the formula. And I got to the point, if another person, I remember saying, if another person tells me to love myself, I'm going to frigging deck them. That's how I felt. And it's always the same then. When I let go, I thought, oh, well, I'll just be single for the rest of my life. And then someone comes in.
Yeah.
It's the same with everything. And, I knew that. And then so I tried to not care so it would come. And even that's the control, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a genuine letting go. And often it does require you to come to your knees, right?
Yeah. It requires... When you say that, it just reminds me of like birthing. It's like I speak without full experience, so mind my naiveness, but the push, it's not actually in the push, it's like the
letting go.
It's the breath out that actually, like, then they come out and then it's birthed and
it's
then
not. It's
gift
actually
is
really
there.
painful. So coming out, it's like, oh,
this is not actually. But I guess that is the release, right?
Yeah.
The release actually.
It is. Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm like, it'll come and it's so easy. It's still like, oh my God, where am I going to live in a week?
Yeah.
But it's knowing that every time you take that surrender, like, even if you start super small of like surrendering to like, I'm not going to control what I'm going to eat this week. I'm just going to listen and see what unfolds. Because it builds this backbone. Yes. So it's like just doing these tiny little bits of surrender every day kind of builds up this resilience, so that then in bigger situations you can have this bigger surrender. And I think probably that's where it's come. It's like it only started really small things. It would be like, I'll surrender to this person replying or not replying, and then it was like, okay, well, now I can surrender where I'm going to live next week.
Well, it's really interesting because two things come up for me there. First of all is being able to sit in the uncomfortableness. Yeah. And you become kind of a Jedi master at sitting in the comfortableness. I mean, it's just a part of it. But but the fulfillment that comes alongside that is worth it. But secondly, what comes up for me now is I'm in the middle of a manifestation at the moment, which I'm not going to talk about because I'm in the middle of it. And we're getting to that point where it's, and the thing that I've got right now, well, first of all, I've got experience, but secondly, I've got enough, you used that word backbone, I've got enough vertebrae now to go, I remember. So for example, when I was in the dental industry for ages, I was in one job for 15 years, and then I changed so much and became so wacky, and the dental industry in the UK and it's very scientific and very kind of a certain way. Left that job, went off to Mexico, did some wacky things. People knew I'd had therapy, and my name was out there in the dental industry of this woman I think has flipped out and she's gone very different. And when I came back from Mexico, I needed a bit of steadiness for a while. And so when I was applying for jobs, I honestly thought I would never get a job in the dental industry again at one point, and I was manifesting it for some steadiness for a while. And I remember that feeling, this is never going to happen for me, but also manifesting it at the same time. And then I got the job. And I mean, I manifested so much before that and after that, but that one particular one, I remember so clearly how I felt. It's like an anchor for me, because I'm able to go, oh, right, well, I felt like that then. This is going to happen now. And because I have a process of doing manifestation, but because I've seen it so often now, it's only a matter of time before this is my reality now. And it might not feel like my reality now, but it's only a matter of time because I've been here before.
Yeah, that first one, you were like, I don't believe this, I don't believe
Yeah.
this. And then it happens and you're like, okay,
But
I can use this as my anchor now.
But then you start taking it for
point.
granted as if it's always been there. It's so funny, isn't it? Yeah.
That's why it's hard, right? When
Yeah.
someone asks you the questions,
Yeah.
because it's like, that's just me.
That's just me.
But then it's like, oh, actually, 5 years ago, that wasn't me.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. So, great, start to wind up, but what's next, Amy? What's next? What's next?
What is next?
You've not said goodbye fully to architecture, have you?
No. Yeah. Architecture's definitely still got this sensation, I would say, within me, that really creative outlet, but also just in the way of actually working with our land and the plants and all permaculture and building with natural materials, which I did a little bit back in Australia before I came here. Oh, bless you.
Oh dear.
Energy's flowing. That's a way energy releases, actually.
So doing architecture in a more holistic way. And I do notice with my clients and different people that they still feel passionate about what they've been doing, but it's just they want to evolve it. I notice that quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like architecture is like this, I guess the bigger form. And then right now I'm just loving working with clients, doing energy work and really bringing in, I guess, like what we've spoken about, really, like bringing in from like being in that fear of like, especially the people around my age and like up to like their early 40s that are wanting to like do their soul gifts and really awaken their passions instead of living a life that doesn't serve them, like realizing younger. I feel a lot of people are. Yeah. So like being that person to hold your hand. Yeah. Be like, you can do it. Yeah. I've done it. It's going to be terrifying, but you can absolutely do it. So you're mentoring people through that space. Yeah. And then working with energy work. Because energy work is a great way to bypass the mind and bypass people's stories and just like get in there, cut cords, clear ancestral patterns without even needing to talk about it. Yeah. It's like a way you can just be like, let's get rid of that. We don't even need to discuss what's happened. Like, just clear that off.
That's cool. Yeah, and you're off to Scotland.
Yeah, off to Scotland. Off to Scotland next.
As we record this.
Yeah, when this comes out, I'll probably be in Scotland.
You might, by the time somebody's watching it, who knows where you've been.
Yeah. Yeah, probably many places.
Many places. And we're going to... it's on YouTube this, and we're going to put in the comments links and different things, and we can update them in time as that changes, so people can find you. Put your Instagram on there because I know you update it, and people will be able to see what you're up to. Yeah, see the journey over these next 2 years. Yeah. And just alchemizing this energy work with the land that is so deeply rooted in my ancestry. You're going to love Scotland. Absolutely. Can't wait for Scotland to come out. I was in Scotland recently, and I lived there for 20-something years, but I was there just on a visit recently and did a little tour and went to some of the islands, and I was showing Amy some footage of me in a stone circle, and you got tingles all over your body, didn't you? Yeah, now my hands are ready. Yeah, they're going again. So very powerful place. And I always ask 2 questions at the end of a podcast, and the first question is, you're very young, so you've not got a lot of terrain to go over, but if you could go to any point up until now, so quantum jump to a previous version of yourself, knowing what you know now, and you can just give her a little whisper in the ear, perhaps some words of encouragement, which part of your life would you go to and what would you say?
Straight away I'm getting like my 16-year-old self, which I wouldn't think that would be I thought it'd be like architecture, but yeah, that 16-year-old self who got her heart broken. Oh, poor Amy. Yeah. And that she was going at that stage I was in nursing, like I was going down the path of nursing actually. And had this really, as a controlling woman back then would, really controlled path of what was to happen, and that not one of those things has been the path. So I would tell her, you already know, like, that little itch in you, that little mystic in you, she's going to be birthed out in the world. Just wait.
Just give her a little whisper.
Just wait, she's coming out. And when I say that, I see, like, the rose just opening, petal by petal, like, yeah. And here she is. That mystic just coming out.
Here she is 12 years later.
Yeah.
And if you could just impart one message to our viewers, I have this thing where about paying forward. I heard when I was in Bali, actually, I was watching a course, and I'd not long split up from my husband, and I was doing this conscious uncoupling thing online, and she said in the intro to it, she used these words, paying forward, and I remember thinking, oh gosh, I love that you can pay forward. And so if you, from your experience so far, if you could pay forward to our viewers anything, just one thing, what would you want to say?
As in myself pay forward, or what do you mean?
What bit of advice from your own experience?
I would always say, and it's the message I will say until the end of this physical life, is trust the niggle, and that little voice is not going to go anywhere. It doesn't matter.
What do you mean by the niggle? Can you give me like a tangible example?
How do you explain a niggle word?
A niggle.
That little voice in you that even if you're in a state of lack, or you think you don't deserve more, or that you can't do the thing you want to do, there's always still that little bit, that tiny little voice that's like, you can.
The instinct. Or even you can even do it the other way around. I don't know if you resonate with this, but when, you know how often you turn around and go, I knew I shouldn't have done that, or I knew I should have done that. Trust that niggle. Yeah. Because
I've seen it in so many people's lives. They're like, that example very well. Like, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I got the guidance I shouldn't have. Or like, I shouldn't have gone in that relationship. I shouldn't have bought that house, and didn't listen. So it's like, my advice would be like, just please trust it, even if it doesn't make logical sense. I promise it makes sense, and that is the path. Yes. That niggle is the path. It doesn't scream loudly. Sometimes people imagine this path is like, it screams from the rooftops, and this wild formed idea will come through and everything will be clear.
No, because
a year ago, 2 years ago, I had absolutely no idea I'd be here. All I knew was like, just do this little bit, this little bit, this little bit.
Well, that's
follow the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs.
Because there's this path, you can't plan it out.
No.
I'm doing something at the moment where I'm being encouraged to plan it out, and I can't, because the version of me as every step changes.
Yeah.
And with this journey, each step reveals itself. It's very much like that. My partner explains that Indiana Jones, and I need to go back and watch it, where he's about to step off something into a void, and then the steps appear as he walks. It literally is like that. And you can spend ages planning and never doing anything, and then you take that one step and it all starts to it is a blind path.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and that's something I want to share before we go as well.
What's that?
That there's the mind path and the soul path and the heart path. Like, the mind path will be like, I'm going to get a job in architecture, and in this many years I'm going to be the top of my firm, and in this many years I'm going to have a relationship, and this many years I'm going to have the kids, and this is when I'm going to get the house. That's the mind path. The soul path is like, I really think you need to go quit your job and go to Bali. And then, like, and then in Bali, didn't have any bags to go to the middle of winter in India, but it was like, now you need to go to India and you need to go serve. I was like, okay, I'll go there too.
Yeah,
it's like,
it comes through you.
It's about like it will just come this, instead of
it's
like
the
this
listening.
way, it's like this way.
And it's the listening.
Yeah. So maybe carving out time to listen.
Well,
that's maybe a good advice.
That's what I write in my book.
Yeah.
The number one thing that you can do to change your life and manifest is become present. But I mean, obviously I go into it in lots more depth than that. So
present.
I'm not going to finish this podcast until I repeat something that you said, and I don't know why I feel to do it, so obviously somebody listening needs to hear this. And I can't remember the exact words you used, but it was something about don't take advice can you just repeat that?
Yeah, so don't take advice from someone that can benefit from your answer.
I loved that, and I just felt like it had to be in here.
Yeah, okay.
Because it had an impact on me. My friend Susan, you know, things have an impact on you. My friend Susan said to me at one point, if there's doubt, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
And it wasn't her thing, but she relayed it to me. And it's so true. I use it so often.
Yeah, if there's doubt, there's no doubt.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, if it's not a full body yes, it's a no.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, it's been great having you on here.
It's been great. Thank you.
Probably talk half an hour on that last statement that you just said. And I look forward to seeing where you go.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you.